Welcome back. You're still watching E-Vibes, the entertainment show on Signature TV. Live here in the studio with me is Gift Okafor, popularly known as Zanivibes. She's an Afro-pop and R&B artist, and we'll be talking about the artist's journey, crafting hits and staying authentic in R&B. So today we are doing R&B and not Afro-pop. So thanks for joining Zanivibes.
Hi, thanks for having me. Hello.
You're welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
When did you come to Enugu?
Well, I grew up here.
Oh, you grew up here?
Yes, I grew up in Enugu.
Perfect. I was thinking you're all these Lagos babes.
I get that a lot, but I was actually born and brought up here in Enugu.
Okay. So, what first drew your attention to R&B, not full Afropop?
Okay, well, at first, I've always been a lover of good music, and I come from a musical family. So, when I was little, what we usually listened to was classical music because my dad loved opera, singing classical music and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't really into classical music at that point. So with the help of my siblings, they started listening to Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, and Beyonce. So at that point, I knew that, okay, I'm actually interested in music and this is what I really want to do. So I think most of it has been because of my environment. So it kind of like inspired me to love R&B, and that was how I discovered it. I was like,
So, but like, how has it shaped your musical career ever since?
Well, basically, I'd say one thing about music is that it's either you have it or you don't have it. Some train themselves, which of course everyone needs to go through a certain kind of training.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I knew it was something that has always been inside of me. And then watching these pop singers or these R&B singers like Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, it kind of like started or gave me a spark. That little spark that can start a fire. That was just it for me when I was watching these great black women do things like this, and I was like, I want to do this. I know I'm in Enugu, but I this is what I really want to do
Yeah.
at this point. So that actually shaped my mindset and made me a lover of R&B music.
Okay, so can you walk us through your craft, how you do it? You said how you've told us how you got your inspiration, which you will still elaborate more. But R&B songs are most times emotional and all that. So walk us through your crafting process.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, there are different ways artists get inspiration when writing music or starting something up. For example, writers do have writer's block sometimes, and you need to clear your head.
Yeah.
You need to go to the beach. You need to relax. So for me, I would say what has helped me craft my music or the songs that I do is my experiences.
Yeah.
Why do I say my experiences? For example, if I'm going through a season of, let's say, a romantic relationship or something love related, I'm inspired to write love songs.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
Okay.
And then let's say you have a heartbreak, right? Then I'm inspired to write a heartbreak song, which is how my song Cry Me a River came about, because I was going through a season of sadness at that point, and that was how I was able to craft the song Cry Me a River. And I didn't know that people were gonna like it.
Yeah.
I was just doing my thing and humming my song, and the producer was like, okay, let's do this. We weren't even supposed to record that song at that point because it was an all-night session.
Yeah.
So we just had little spare time, and he was playing the guitar because he's a guitarist. Shout out to CJ Obasi. And then I started creating melodies because that's how I write my music. I start with melody, no words yet.
Yeah.
I'm just, humming or singing a note, and then before you know it, lyrics and words start coming up. But the first thing I do is that I put down my melody, I record it, and then that's how it starts for me. And then from there, we're able to arrange the song, which is the song can either start with the hook or the verse. So in this case, I started with the hook of the song, from the hook to the verse, then to the hook again, and then second verse, and that was a wrap. So that's like my process. And sometimes I don't come to the studio prepared. I don't have anything in mind. But once I get there and then I'm seeing the mood, the producer is playing the keyboard and all, things start coming out. Meanwhile, then some other times I do prepare. I'm like, okay, this is what I want to record. But I notice that songs that I don't prepare for, they do better than songs I actually
Prepare.
Yeah,
for.
so it's really weird, right?
Yeah. You know, I was about asking you if you craft your music through personal experience,
Yeah.
but you already answered that. So do you craft your music through other people's stories too?
Yes, I do that too.
Okay, apart from heartbreak.
Yeah, yes. I also talk about life struggles. You
Okay.
know, we're in Nigeria and people do go through a lot.
Uh-huh.
And I also talk about what females go through in the industry. So I haven't released that one yet. So
I'm actually
it's
going to
still-
ask you that.
It's still in my archives. So
Yeah.
I listen to stories of different girls because I'm very, would I say emotional or sentimental when it comes to female artists, because we don't have lots of female artists who want to, do the music business. I just see girls who who do music as a hobby.
But
And-
why?
Well, the pressure is real.
On women.
Yes, it is. I think women have to work twice as hard as the men in the
I
industry.
thought they said life is easier for women.
Well, maybe it's true to a certain degree, but I don't think life is easy for all women. Maybe some women, but then again, I know women who have actually gone through so much. And the fact that you're coming from a family or a culture who tells you not to be business minded as a woman, who tells you, oh, you should just live your life, graduate, get married, which is all good at the end of the day. But I think everyone is put here for a purpose. So I always ask this question: why are you here? Of course, be fruitful and multiply is not just for you; it's for everybody in the world. Right?
Yeah.
So what separates you from
From being
everybody?
fruitful and multiplying.
Thank you. So that is what I keep saying, and I don't blame these women because sometimes they don't have that support. At least it was a bit easier for me because my dad was a music lover, my
Okay.
mom was a dancer. So my brother, because I'm the last, so my brothers are into music. My other brother, who he also produces. So somehow it was a bit easier, even though they were like, "Are you sure you want to take music seriously? You can do music like at the side, but then go to school, do your thing." I was like, "I'm all for that." But music is kind of like my calling, and this is actually what I want to do. And I'm skilled in this because I see other artists who they don't have maybe the kind of background I have, and they're doing really well. So imagine someone who comes from that background of music. I think for me, it's gonna be an addition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You made a statement that women in the music industry, it's always tough for them.
Yes.
Why? Because we have the likes of Simi, Yemi Alade,
Yes.
Ira Thames, and all.
But I can list like 50 male artists and maybe 10 female artists who are doing really well.
Why? That's my problem.
I don't know why. I don't really have all
They don't
the
give them
answers.
attention or what
Like I said, I feel women have to prove themselves.
before they let you into that spotlight.
Yes, because there's something Bernard Boy's mom always say. She's like, if it's not given to you, you have to go take it. So let's say I walk into a studio, because I've experienced this before, and I see other male artists, they are vibing, they're doing this, they're doing that, and maybe they're expecting me to just be one side and be looking and be quiet.
Yeah.
But they see that I'm matching their energy.
Yeah.
Which I feel maybe some girls may not be able to do that because of, like I said, where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Because I'm already coming from a background of
Music.
So I step into a place and they're expecting me to like just, stay one place, do your girly thing. But I'm matching their energy. They're writing, I'm writing. They're creating melodies, I'm creating melodies. And at the end of it, they're like, okay, let's listen to her. So I feel as a woman, you shouldn't use because you're a woman and not be able to probably, how do I explain it? Okay, like I said, like you said, you feel like women are not given that chance. And I would say if the male are writing music and it's doing really well, I think women shouldn't just sit around and become emotional, because it almost happened to me, feeling like, they should allow me. But I had to learn how to go get it myself.
By yourself.
By myself, which some women are not really ready to do that. So they experience a little challenge, they go back. but the guys keep pushing. They sleep in the studio. They're studio rats. They're there. If everybody goes home, you see the guy there still recording, or before you know it, you see him creating like the men are. They're putting in so much hard
Work, so you could see
so
them.
I can see that, but for the ladies, sometimes it's a bit challenging to match that energy with the guys, because that is all they are set to do. So you can see a guy, he can get married and he's still doing music. Like it doesn't even affect anything.
True.
So I think it's all about your mindset and your background, where you're coming from. While some people may not have that privilege of coming from that background, but if you're determined to do something, I think you should be able to do it. Music is a beautiful career to be in. It opens me up to be creative. I wasn't always outspoken. I was always a shy kid in class. But if you give me a mic, you see a different Zani.
Yeah.
So music was a way of me to express myself and tell people, hey, I'm here. But on a normal day, I wouldn't talk.
So have there ever been a time whereby pressure make you compromise your style?
Oh yes, I've been there.
Okay.
So of course I'm an Igbo girl. I'm from Anambra State, and they always tell me, you sound too foreign, or you do so much R&B, so much riffs and runs, so your melody is too sweet. Can't you bring it down a bit, to make it more? But like, I changed my sound. I'm not gonna lie to you. I started as a beautiful R&B hip hop singer, and I switched to Afro. Like, I started doing Afro beats because I got signed to a label at some point. So that was where all the rebranding started. That was the birth of a new season for Zanivibes. So I started up as, normal R&B singer. But at some point, I go for a show in the East or in Enugu, and I'm seeing everybody, vibing to some, Igbo songs. And then when I come up to do my own style, they're just looking at me. Like, what is she doing here? So that made me start singing like the whole Igbo Afrobeat. I started like putting in one or two cultural stuff in my music, and then at some point I left R&B. I just gave up on R&B. And because I wanted that validation from men, I wanted them to see me and be like, oh yeah, she's doing
there.
well. Yeah, I didn't want them to just look at me and stare at me like, oh, what is she singing? When she's done, please bring back the people I used to. I didn't want to go through that again. So so it was a phase for me because I was still young, I was still coming up, and that was what I did. I just changed my sound entirely. I started doing the Afro song because I'm being pretty honest. Yeah. And then my real fans, people that loved me for that R&B music, I noticed they started like, reclining, like, oh, she's no longer doing what we love.
Yeah.
She's doing what they like. So, and secondly, I kind of like lost my authenticity at some point because I was trying to sound like every other person. So I feel as an artist, that is a mistake people make. If you're starting up as an artist, do not be afraid of making mistakes. Do not be afraid of what people will think. Oh, they're going to laugh at me. Oh, this sound is not good. It's not. If you keep doing that, you never put any music out. I'm telling you for a fact. If you keep going back and forth with your creativity, oh, would they like it? Would they not like it? Put it out there. If you fail, you do it again. If you fail, you do it again till you get that brand and that sound. They're going to be like, oh, this is it. This is what we're looking for. So that's what I feel artists should not be afraid of doing, because I get that a lot. You have lots of music, lots of song, but you don't want to put it out because you're scared of what people will think. And even if they reject you, and so what?
I mean,
You get so to me, it doesn't matter. It's a journey, and that's the story you're gonna tell people, because someone is watching you and they're inspired that, oh, if she can make mistakes and then come out of it, then I can do it
the
too.
same thing.
So that's.
Well, how did you balance it up when you had to change your style to Afrobeat that the Enugu people understand, and you're beginning to lose fans that loved your R&B. So how did you balance it up? How did you keep that niche?
Okay, so what I did at that point was to start up what I felt like I combined them. I'll say I did some Afro R&B.
Okay.
So I'm listening to an Afrobeat song and I infuse R&B into it. If I'm doing a trap song, I infuse Afro into it. Let's say there's an instrumental or a beat and it's hip hop, I put in Afrobeat. And then if it's R&B music, I also try and put in one or two slangs that would also my fans would love,
Yeah.
and also the Easterners can also relate to and sing along to. So that's just what I did. I just balanced it up, at the end of the day, because people always say, "Oh, give people what they want," and when you blow, when you get there, you are going to like sing your R&B or do whatever.
It's gonna be so difficult though.
Yeah, but the thing is that if everybody is doing that same thing, how are you sure you're gonna blow? What if that sound is what's gonna set you apart from every other person?
Amen.
I feel every artist, we all have our target audience. We all have listeners. It's not everybody that loves, Davido or Burna Boy or Wizkid. People have their preferences. Some people love Asha. They don't want the whole maybe Charlie Poppy. Some people love Charlie Poppy and they don't really want Asha. But Asha has a crowd. Charlie Poppy has his crowd. Wizkid. So the earlier an artist knows that if your song is for everybody, good and fine. But a situation whereby you have a niche or maybe this is your forte, you could say, okay, I have my people, and if in the process of me singing for my people the song goes viral and the whole world like resonates with it, good and fine. But it's important to know that maybe you're not really for everybody, but if you are, it's even a plus for you.
High five.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making this show quite so interesting and educational, because most people needed to hear what you said. Thank you so much. Give to Car for Zanivibes for joining me on my show today.
Welcome.
So yeah, the show has come to an end. Join us same time tomorrow for more insights, more stories, more drama, more conversation. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and enjoy the rest of your day. I remain your baby girl, Queenette Mukunta.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.